Hey, Dan here. I just want to share a little Easter message with you that I shared at my youth group. And First of all, I want to start out with, have you ever broken any bones? I mean, I'm sorry to say, but I've broken six bones. Yeah, six bones. It's not easy. It's not fun. But let me tell you what the worst part about breaking a bone, in my opinion, is. It isn't the pain that you go through when you're launched off your bicycle or hit by a car. For me, at least, it wasn't. It wasn't the broken collarbone and every time I moved it hurt. No, it wasn't that. The pain for me was not being able to do what I once did, not having the freedom to go out and play the sports I want to play, or not having the freedom to easily take a shower, or not having the freedom to go where I want to go. Yeah, that's breaking a bone. And one of the interesting things about bones, if you didn't know this, is that where you actually break it, when it heals, it's stronger than it ever was before. Kind of interesting. The other thing that I learned about bones was that you got to trust the process. You got to trust that healing is going on, even though you can't see it through the cast, you can't see it through your flesh. You just got to trust that healing is happening, and then when the 4 or 5 or 6 weeks end, you're going to have a healed bone and a stronger bone. I share that with you because some of you may be able to relate on the whole feeling of what's going on. You may not have broken bones at a time like this, but you may have broken hopes, broken dreams. You are feeling trapped in your home, and you've lost the vacation that you had been planning on for months or years. The way that school was going to go with the school activities, the sports, the shows, and all that has been all shot down the drain. Some of you maybe even had physical procedures that you needed done that have been put on hold because, well, we've all been told to stay at home except for essentials. Even the fun, simple things like seeing a movie that we've been looking forward to, like Black Widow or Wonder Woman, that has been postponed, put on hold. Um, yeah, is that wasted time? It sure seems like that we're stuck here. And I share that with you because 2,000 years or so ago, when we had the first Holy Week, that is the time when Christ came into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday and suffered and died on Good Friday and then rose on Easter Sunday. That's called Holy Week. And in that is a day that we don't hear much of. And I want to talk about that day. And it's the day in between the resurrection and the death. That would be what my daughter calls it, Sad Saturday. Yeah, Sad Saturday. And you know, if you look in the Gospels, the story accounts of the death and resurrection of Christ, you can find out what was written about Sad Saturday. And if you look in Luke, you'll actually find out that nothing is written in Luke, the Gospel of Luke. If you look in the Gospel of John, between the death and the resurrection, nothing is written about Sad Saturday. Not a popular topic. And then if you look in Mark, same thing, nothing written. In Matthew, actually, you will find a brief little account of some paranoid people that were scared that something was going to happen with the body, so they asked for more guards to be put up so the disciples don't steal the body. And that's all that we have for Sad Saturday. But you know what? Even though there isn't anything written, it's safe to say that the followers of Christ were scared to death. They were not in a comfortable place. They were actually in a tight room. We find them on Sunday in a locked room, all of them crammed into a room. They didn't have big rooms like we have in this day and age. They were in there for who knows how long, wanting to get out, wanting to get away from the closeness of the area. Not that they didn't like each other. They just were probably tired of each other. Anybody relate? I think so. And my guess is while they were trapped on that Sad Saturday, they were having feelings of doubt. They were having feelings of confusion. They were having feelings of what's going to happen with our future? What's going to happen with all that we invested in following Christ? What's going to happen with these dreams that we had, these expectations that all seem to be wiped out? What's going to happen with our actual lives? Are we going to even be able to live to see the future that we dreamed of? And I got to bet they were even asking, God, where are you in all this? Don't you love us? Haven't you seen how we've given all to you? You really going to allow this to happen? Anybody relate? Anybody ever feel that way? Anybody asking that question right now? God, where are you? If you're a loving God, why are you letting this happen? Let me say, God is a loving God. And we aren't going to always get his ways or what he allows to happen in this broken world of broken dreams and broken bones. Okay? He is doing something we don't realize, but he is. So I want to give you a couple truths. I shared this a ton of times in the youth group because I think these are life verses that we need to keep in mind when times get tough. And the first one is written specifically to Christians. And it's just for them. Sorry, but this is an incentive. If you don't know God, this is a good reason to give your life to him for this. And let me just read you this passage. Actually, I printed it out so you can see it. I'm sure you've heard it before. And it says, we know that for those who love God, all things work together for the good. We know that for those who love God, all things, not just the things that have to do with God, but the brokenness in our life, the ticket that we might have gotten, the broken down car, the lost job, the lost business, the lost schoolwork, the lost friendship, the lost marriage, all things work together for the good. That is, of those that love God. And that's a promise that we can hold on to, just like the broken bone that is healing. Even though we can't see it, we got to trust it is happening. The next promise comes from the book of Timothy. The last one was from Romans. I didn't mention that. But the book of Timothy, and it says this. It says this is speaking of God, and he says that God wants everyone to be saved and to understand the truth. God wants everyone to be saved and to understand the truth. Do you realize that? Do you realize that God holds back on a lot of things because he wants to allow those to bring people to him so that nobody will be separated eternally from him? So I got to believe, and I can't give you all the answers of why this is happening, and that's not going to happen in a 10-minute talk. But what I can tell you that is God is using this. He is raising up people in ways we never imagined. He's using technology, Zoom, in ways that's never been used. He is working all things together so more people will turn to him. And we know that in crisis, in hard times, in broken times, we turn to God in ways we don't normally when everything's all good. Let's be honest. We know that's the case. So remember that. So remember, God sticks to his promises. Those are two things I want you to hold on to. And I want to also remind you of this on Sad Saturday. It might be Sad Saturday, and we're going through some tough times, but people, guess what? Sunday's coming. And if you don't get it, Sunday is Easter, and Sunday represents we all have hope that will go on forever because Christ on Easter conquered death. He rose. He beat it. There's nothing that we have to fear because ultimately death has been beat. So we might go through some tough times, but he promises to go with us, and we got the promise of Sunday for whatever brokenness we're in that started with the pandemic or that may have already been pre-existing, which I know a lot of people have had plenty of hard things that they're already going through before this time. So do me a favor. Take a look around. Are there people struggling? Are there people without hope? Do they know what Sunday represents? Do they know that we are in a sad Saturday state right now? Do they know that God can be trusted? Do you know that God can be trusted? That he will carry you through? That he is faithful to the end? And he will use all this to bring people deeper in relationship to him, but also bring people that have never known God into a relationship with him. That is one of the amazing things that can happen in hard times. So hold on to that hope, because we got to trust. We got to believe that under the cast, under the wrapping, under it all, healing, God is working in ways we would never, ever imagine, because before we know it, we're going to be free again. We're going to be out of that locked room. We're going to be in a place that we're stronger like that bone than we ever imagined, because we went through this time of brokenness. So keep that in mind, and peace be with you.